Hello friends, welcome to all. Myself Vishal Jogidas. Today we will discuss about linear induction motor, and this topic is covered in the subject of electrical machines too. In previous lecture we have discussed about principle of magnetic levitation. So in that case we have seen that we are using the repulsion effect in the magnet. If two unlike poles are there, then in between these two there is a repulsion force, and we are using this repulsion force for the magnetic levitation. And most powerful application of magnetic levitation is maglev trains. Its speed is very high, up to 300 km per hour. So this is the advantage of maglev train. Now we are going to discuss linear induction motor. So we have already discussed about induction motor, three-phase induction motor, single-phase induction motor, and all the properties of induction motor. But this motor's output is not linear. It is in a rotational. Shaft is rotated in the clockwise or anti-clockwise. But if we apply this principle for linear motion, then this type of motor is known as linear induction motor. So let us start. What are linear motors? So linear motors are electric induction motors that produce motion in a straight line rather than rotational motion. Okay, so in this motor it will produce motion in a straight line. In a traditional electric motor, the rotor, it means rotating part, spins inside the stator, it means static part. So in a conventional motor we have seen that the rotor will rotate inside the stator. Okay, but in a linear motor, what is the case? The stator is unwrapped and laid out flat, and the rotor moves past in a straight line. It means in a linear motor, stator will be unwrapped. It means it is a straight, and rotor will rotate on this straight path in a linear motor. So here we will discuss construction of a linear induction motor. Okay, so here we can see this is the stator. Okay, this is a three-phase squirrel cage induction motor. Then if we cut from here and if we place like this, then it will become like this. Okay, open cut. And if we make straight this, then it will become three-phase linear induction motor. Okay, so if the stator of the polyphase induction motor is cut along the section and laid on a flat surface, then it forms the primary of the linear induction motor housing the field system, and consequently the rotor forms the secondary consisting of flat aluminum conductors with ferromagnetic core for effective flux linkages. So this one is red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, blue. This is the winding of three-phase winding. Okay, and in above this there is a rotor. Okay, and it consists of flat aluminum conductors. So this is the construction of a linear induction motor. Here also we can see that in center there is a rotor, this one is the stator. Okay, so from this we can make this type of arrangement. This one is the stator, and inside the stator there is a coils, and in center there is a rotor. Okay, so here we can see that in this case the rotor strip, yellow strip is stands for rotor, so it will rotate on the stator in linear path. It means in left to right or right to left. So this type of motion is known as linear motion, and this type of arrangement is known as linear induction motor. So now working of a linear induction motor. Primary of a linear induction motor is excited by a balanced three-phase power supply. So it is just the same as a three-phase induction motor. In that case also we are excited primary or stator by a three-phase supply. Now a traveling flux is induced in the primary instead of rotating three-phase flux. Okay, so in this case, in a linear induction motor, there is a traveling flux is induced in the primary, because it is not rotating device. It is not a round shaped device, so there is no rotating magnetic flux. Electric current is induced into the secondary. Okay, so we know the principle of transformer. Whenever we are giving a supply to the primary, at that time the electric current is induced in the secondary. So in that case also, due to transformer action, electric current is induced in the secondary due to the relative motion between the traveling flux and the conductors. Okay, due to the relative motion between the traveling flux and the conductor. This induced current interacts with the traveling flux. It means this current will interact with the traveling flux wave to produce linear force or thrust force. So due to this, there is a interaction with the traveling flux wave to produce linear force or thrust force F. If the secondary is fixed and the primary is free to move, the force will move the primary in the direction of the force, resulting in the required rectilinear motion. So this is the principle. If we make a secondary fixed, okay, and the primary is free to move in a linear motion, then the force will move the primary in the direction of the force, and what is the result? Resulting in a required rectilinear motion. So it is not a circular motion but rectilinear motion. Now speed is given by synchronous speed of the field ns is equal to 2fs upon p. Okay, so this is the speed of the linear induction motor. Now what is fs? Fs is the supply frequency in hertz and p is the number of poles. Okay, so this can be considered for the speed. If we know the supply frequency and number of poles, then we can easily calculate the synchronous speed of this linear induction motor. Now the developed field will result in a linear traveling field. Okay, developed field will result in a linear traveling field, the velocity of which is given by the equation Vs is equal to 2t into Fs. Okay, so this is the equation for velocity Vs. where Vs is the velocity of the linear traveling field and small t is equal to pole pitch. So if we know the supply frequency and pole pitch, then we can easily calculate the velocity of the linear traveling field using this formula. Now for a slip of S, the speed of the linear induction motor is given by Vr is equal to 1 minus S into Vs. See what is S? S stands for slip. Okay. So speed of linear induction motor is given by, it is known as relative speed. Vr is equal to 1 minus S into Vs. Now different types of forces are there. First one is the thrust. The drive generated by linear induction motors is somewhat similar to conventional induction motors. Okay, the drive forces show a roughly similar characteristics, shape relative to slip, and modulated by the end effects. So its characteristics, speed torque characteristics, it is roughly similar as a three-phase induction motor. Okay, so equation exists for calculating the thrust of a motor. So thrust will be the generated as a function of slip, and this is the characteristics of torque versus slip, and it is somewhat roughly equal to the induction motors. Another one force is levitation. So we already discussed about magnetic levitation in a previous lecture. So in this case also we can discuss about levitation. In addition, unlike a rotary motor, an electromagnetic levitation force is shown. This is 0 at 0 slip. It means the electromagnetic levitation force will be 0 at 0 slip and gives a roughly constant amount of force as the slip increases in either direction. Okay, so its amount of force will be constant as the slip is increases in either direction. This occurs in single-sided motors, and levitation will not usually occur when an iron backing plate is used on the secondary. If we are making iron backing plate as a secondary, then there will be no levitation will be there usually, since this case is an attraction that overwhelms the lifting force. So this case is the attraction that overwhelms the lifting force. Okay, so here we can see the graph of force versus drive frequency. So this is the typical relationship of linear motor forces. End effects. What are the end effects? Unlike a circular induction motor, a linear induction motor shows the end effects. These end effects include loss in performance and efficiency that are believed to be caused by magnetic energy being carried away and lost at the end of the primary by the relative movement of the primary and secondary. See, what is end effects? It includes losses in performance and efficiency. Okay, and what is the reason for that? So that are believed to be caused by magnetic energy being carried away and lost at the end of the primary. Okay, by the relative movement of the primary and secondary. There is a relative movement in primary and secondary, and due to this there is some loss of energy, and this type of effect is known as AND effects. With a short secondary, the behavior is almost identical to a rotary machine, provided it is at least 2 poles long but with a short primary reduction in thrust that occurs at low slip below 0.3 until it is 8 poles or longer. So whenever the secondary is short, what will happen? The behavior is almost identical to rotary machine, provided it is at least 2 poles long but with a short primary reduction in thrust. Thrust is one type of force, and that occurs at low slip. It means below 0.3 will be considered as low slip, and until it is 8 poles or longer. So we have to use at least 2 poles. It means minimum 2 poles and maximum 8 poles or longer we can use. However, because of AND effects, linear motors cannot run light. Normal induction motors are able to run the motor with a near synchronous field under low load conditions. In contrast, AND effects create much more significant losses with linear motors. So at no load there are so many losses in a linear induction motor, but in this case, so we can run normal induction motor at light load or at no load, but this motor in a linear motor there are AND effects, and in AND effects there are some losses. So due to this there is a significant losses. Now performance. Linear induction motors are often less efficient than the conventional rotary induction motors that we have already seen due to the AND effects. There are number of losses are there. The AND effects and the relatively large air gap that is often present will typically reduce the forces produced for the same electrical power. Okay, so we know that whenever the losses are increases, at that time the output will be decreases, so efficiency is also decreases. So due to AND effects and relatively large air gap, there will be reduce of forces produced. The larger air gap also increases the inductance of a motor, which can require larger and more expensive capacitors. So due to the larger air gap, the need of the capacitor is larger, and more expensive capacitor should be there. However, conversely, linear induction motors can avoid the need of gearboxes and similar drivetrains, and these have their own losses, and working knowledge of the importance of the goodness factor can minimize the effects of the larger air gap. Goodness factor can minimize the effects of the larger air gap. Okay, so this is the case in a linear induction motor. Gearboxes and similar drivetrains can be avoided. In any case, power use is not always the most important considerations. Okay, so in any case, power use is not a most important consideration. For example, in many cases, linear induction motors have far fewer moving parts and have very low maintenance. Also, using linear induction motors instead of rotating motors with rotary to linear transmissions in motion control systems
enables higher bandwidth and accuracy of the control system, because rotary to linear transmission introduce backlash, static friction and mechanical compliance in the control system. So this is one example of this. Now advantages. What are the advantages of linear induction motors? First one is there are no moving parts to go wrong.
Okay, so moving part is absent in this case. Then as the platform rides above the track on a cushion of air, there is no loss of energy to the friction or vibrations. So we have seen that the platform is rides above the track, okay, and there is a medium of air in between track and that platform. So there is no loss of energy to friction or vibration. It is a advantage. Then as both acceleration and braking are achieved through electromagnetism, linear motors are much quieter than ordinary motors. So as both acceleration and braking are achieved through electromagnetism, linear motors are much quieter than ordinary motors. So this is a advantage. And now disadvantages. Because the air gap is greater, more power is required and efficiency is lower as compared to normal induction motor. So these are the disadvantages. Now application of linear induction motor.
So it is used in automatic sliding doors in electric trains. Okay. So sliding door, we know that in a sliding door there is a linear motion. So we can use in a automatic sliding doors in electric trains. Another application is mechanical handling equipments such as propulsion of a train of tubes along a certain route. Okay, so in this type of applications in a mechanical handling equipment, we can use linear induction motor. Another one is metallic conveyor belts. We can also use for metallic conveyor belts. So these are the typical applications of linear induction motor. Thank you.